Welcome back to the Riley Black Project with Crystal and John.
Hey.
So how are you feeling right now, today?
Tired AF.
So the new thing in our house is our 3-year-old has discovered that when he wakes up in the morning, he does not have to stay in his room.
And because he used to just wait for us.
Yeah, he just used to hang out in his room.
Yeah, if he woke up before us, he'd just lay in his bed and kind of...
Yeah, but not anymore.
Talk to himself.
For the past 3 days, he's been leaving his room, walking into our room, and waking us up just to ask for permission to use the restroom.
Yeah.
And then proceeds to not go back to sleep.
Been great.
And this morning was the earliest one. What was it?
6 a.m.
6 a.m. in the morning.
Yes, because the other days his excuse was it was like 7:45, 7:50. The sun's out. It's
right.
Like, okay, fine. I can't really argue with you there. But today, the sun wasn't even out. So that was my response when he walked into the room at 6 a.m.
Right, and did not go back to sleep, not even in our bed. Just tossed
he did eventually after beating both of us up.
Yeah, but it was like 8 o'clock in the morning when he finally
cuddling with my face. And it was for like 20 minutes, I think, if we're lucky.
Right.
So I'm tired. Yeah. Tired.
But anyway, today's topic is TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we come to the TikTok?
So I guess it's relevant right now because I've been pressuring Heather to do like short TikTok videos.
To join the dark side?
To join. And I mean, I'll admit too, I think I have a total of like maybe, 6 myself. So I am by no means a TikTok professional or expert, but so anyway, she finally signed up, and I think she signed up 3 or 4 days ago. And one of her second video has 17,500 views.
Wow.
And she's promoting, it's a little bit of both. It's promoting, but also a tutorial showing like how to do something in Procreate on the iPad.
More her showing how she does it than a tutorial, right? Because they're quick clips.
Yeah, very, very quick clips, but it's a little bit of both. So it's like the tutorial, but it's also her promoting her Procreate brushes that she created.
Oh, okay. So when you were talking about her brushes in the last episode, you're not talking about physical brushes.
No,
you're talking
actual
about like digital
brushes within the Procreate app.
Okay. I thought it was her hoarding behavior and she found a deal on a bunch of physical brushes.
No. I mean, she would.
Right.
But no.
Yeah, we were talking about that and you're like, oh, do you want to talk about your brushes or save that for a later episode?
Yeah, no, so that's what that was about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she made these brushes within Lightburn.
Procreate.
I'm sorry. Procreate.
Yeah, the Procreate app, which is where Heather and I create most of our laser designs. Like if anybody's ever seen any of my designs in my Etsy shop, most of them were drawn with the Procreate app.
Oh, okay.
So like if I drew the henna designs for the watch bands and stuff, those I drew them in Procreate.
So when you make your own brush, is this something like you can use like someone's logo as a brush? Because I've seen that I follow this, I think it's a graffiti artist, but he does something on like a tablet. So, and all his latest videos, he's been using like either flags or someone's logo and writing like, for instance, he'll use your Riley Black logo and he'll spell out Riley Black.
Yeah. So yes, she's actually come out with those are called stamp brushes.
Oh, okay.
So she has a few of those too. I don't know if she's released all of them or not. She's shown them to me, but I don't know which ones are actually like live in her Etsy. But one of them was like, looks like a diamond. And so then you could write like crystal, but it'd be made up of a bunch of little crystals, diamonds or whatever.
That's cool.
Yeah. Where are we going with that? I got distracted.
TikTok, and she's using the TikTok videos to kind of promote her
but
brushes.
Also show a tutorial on how to do something. Like her second one actually showed me something that I didn't know in Procreate, which is pretty easy to do because I'm I got my iPad at the end of May of last year.
So fairly new to it.
Fairly new. And I don't really I just stick to what I know. I don't really look.
Explore and
I don't really watch a bunch of tutorials or anything like that. I just, if there's something I don't know how to do and I wonder if it exists, I ask Heather. Because she's like my Procreate expert. Yeah. So her second video with the brushes got 17,500 views. I think her first video, I don't know, got like 2,000. And then her third video has like 4 or something like that. But she's definitely seen an increase in sales. And so we don't necessarily know if that's like TikTok. I'm sure some of it is TikTok related. But it could also be from just her normal traffic or the millions of Facebook groups that she's in.
So is her TikTok Lobo Designs?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, they probably like see her TikTok and say, oh, let me search it on Etsy or whatever.
Right.
Find her there.
Yeah. And I think her Etsy is probably linked on her TikTok profile.
Oh, okay. So there
somewhere
it is.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah. My personal TikTok experience is one of my videos haven't gone viral. I think my most viewed TikTok video is only like 1,300. And that was one of the first ones I ever did like a year or 2 ago.
So 1,300 in the span of a year.
Yeah. It's nothing impressive.
I would say 1,300 is pretty good. But
I mean, yeah,
when you consider it's been a year.
Right.
Not like
it's probably a year plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did one video. It was like a time lapse of me assembling a sign, and that was it. And then I didn't do it again. So my TikTok literally sat there for forever.
Well, her hashtags have to be.
Definitely hashtags are incredibly important.
Because I've heard that if you
getting
search.
Viewed.
Yeah, I've heard if you search. I don't have TikTok and I haven't really used it. I just use Reels, which play some TikToks. But
right.
I've heard from friends that if you look for a hashtag, all videos with those hashtags like start popping up in your feed.
Right.
So if someone's looking for Procreate, right?
Yeah, Procreate. Like one of her hashtags was
so if someone
Procreate
likes
tutorial.
to watch those time lapses,
yep.
then hers just comes in the queue as they're scrolling through.
Right. So my personal TikTok experience was in around Christmas.
Oh, when I ran the booth.
When you ran the booth for me. So I had a table at a Girl Boss event at my consignment store, which is Karma Bath. So shout out to them because they're super amazing. All women owned.
Give you a place to display
yep.
the things that you test out and not necessarily plan to make a bunch of.
Right. So there's some things that I've made like personally for the store, like my keychains that I sell, I made personally for the store. And then eventually I ended up selling the design after the fact, but those started for that store. But yes, the consignment store, so they're more a bath. Like they have scrubs and bath bombs and salts masks. And all that kind of stuff. Super awesome, amazing stuff. But
JR
they also
loves the bath bombs.
He does. They have several consignment vendors that they, I guess lease out the space to or whatever. But anyway, so I met them at a show, one of my first craft shows I went to, and they were in a booth next to me, and then we kind of started talking and then got a relationship that way. Anyway, so they had a Girl Boss event, and I had to send my husband boss.
Girl boss and a guy.
in my place because COVID numbers had started to go up, and we had just a few weeks before that found out that I was pregnant. And I was also struggling pretty bad with nausea and exhaustion, which I still have some, but it's decreased a little bit.
Yeah, it was so bad that you can't even call it morning sickness. It was like all-day sickness.
All day. It was just 24/7 sickness. So I knew that I wouldn't be able to deal with customers and stuff all day. And we wanted to keep the exposure, as long as as low as we could with you going and then whatever. So anyway, it was my last event of the year. It was my last hurrah. I had stopped taking any orders. and was pricing stuff to sell. I didn't want you to take a bunch home. I wanted most of it to sell
to go,
if at all possible.
And it was all Christmas. It was all ornaments.
Yeah, mostly ornaments. There was some earrings.
Right.
But yeah, it was mostly Christmas themed. And so we had the regular ornaments. There was some like Florida shaped ones and snowmen and, you know, whatever.
That toilet paper one.
The toilet paper one. A
lot of Corona stuff.
I survived the toilet paper shortage, those kind of. And then we also had a mature section.
A naughty section.
And we covered that with a little...
like a veil.
Basically.
Which really worked because it drawed a lot of attention because it was all black, but the veil part was red.
Right.
So it stuck out, and it said mature. No, it said, what did it say? Explicit?
I don't remember.
But there was a sign
over
only
it. Or something like that.
There was a sign over it, and everyone's like, what's under there?
Right.
And yeah, it really worked because everyone, and then as soon as I peeled it back, even if they didn't like this, I need to buy one of those, everyone smiled or laughed.
Right.
And there was at one point, it was a like a teenage girl who asked her mom.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I don't know. Because it's a mom and a daughter. And here I am, the creepy guy with a bunch of penises underneath this veil because that's what they were. They were balls and jingle balls and penises on the background of some. So it's like, I feel like a creep.
Right.
But they laughed. They laughed it off. And then it's funny, the teenager got bashful. And the mom wanted to buy some. And so did the grandma. It was 3 generations. The grandmother and mom found it funny and wanted to buy some.
Yeah.
But the teenager was so bashful and was like, no, we got to go. Nana, don't spend your money.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, so one of my... I guess friends, we didn't really know each other super well. I knew her through Karma and those Girl Boss events. And so she didn't have a table at that event, but she attended it to like support and check it out.
Yeah,
so
I didn't know that you even knew who she was.
Yeah.
Because she just saw him and was like, oh, I need that one. I need that one. I need that one.
Right.
I need that one. I was like, whoa. Okay.
So her name is Kaylee, and she has 2 Etsy shops of her own. I know one of them's Fandomly Designs. I don't know what the other one is, but she sells a bunch of...
Say that a little slower.
Fandomly Designs.
Okay.
So she sells a bunch of like candles and vinyl stickers and keychains and miscellaneous stuff. But anyway, so she bought I think like 8 different ornaments or something like that.
Yeah, at least.
And so she bought them all, and then she's on TikTok a lot. And so she went to her car and she filmed like her showing off each of the ornaments.
Almost like an unboxing, but not really.
Right, because she'd already seen them, right?
Yeah, she was just showing like, oh, look at this. And it was super genuine. She was like, oh, this one's funny. This one's my favorite.
This one's going to my mom.
Great.
Right. Yeah. And it was, she was hilarious. Like she definitely made the video, obviously, along with the ornaments. And she had messaged me, I think, because she wanted another one. Like she was going to give one to her mom, but she decided she wanted to keep one or something like that. I think she messaged me because she wanted a couple more and she wanted to see if I had any more. And then she was like, oh, by the way, I did a video with your ornaments on TikTok and it's going viral. And I'm like, or she said it's like kind of going viral. And I was like, oh God. And so at that point, I think I looked and I didn't know enough about TikTok to even know how to see how many views it has. I just saw the likes and the comments. And when I had looked the first time, it had like 3,000 likes.
Right.
And I was like, oh man. And all the comments were, where did you get those? Where did you get those? Where did you get those? And so I didn't have my website set up at the time. I just had...
You really didn't have...
I just had Instagram.
It was all through Instagram.
Yeah.
And DMs.
Instagram and Facebook is basically.
Yeah.
And so she was like, oh, people are asking like where to get them. She's like, I just told them, Instagram, because that's where she follows me, is on Instagram. Soon after, then the messages started coming into my Instagram box. And
how did that look? Like, what would... Do you remember those numbers?
I stopped counting at like 50 or 60.
Wow.
Yeah.
Messages, DMs.
Messages, yeah.
That's crazy.
Of
From
how
people-
do I purchase? How do I purchase? Which
Right.
one? Like, how much are they? Can I get some? I want this one. I want that one. Or how do I order? And then I actually got a bunch of Etsy likes as well because people looked me up on Etsy
and found you there.
and found me on Etsy. But my Etsy is just digital. There's no
Right.
physical items. And so this happened. It was like at the end of the day on that Saturday. And by the time we went to bed, I mean, I couldn't go to sleep, but I think we eventually went in the room around 2 a.m. or 3 a.m.
Because we set up your website.
The next day.
Oh, that was the next day.
That was the next.
Okay.
So the next morning, I think I woke up. I got up at like 6 or 7. Like I barely slept. I could not sleep, and then I woke up early, and I was like, I have to get started because I not only had to create the website, I had to make some of the ornaments again because she bought like the last one.
Right, and
someone else did.
These were like, you only had a few of these because they were like test designs, right?
Some of them, yeah, was only like I was testing the file, not like
it wasn't meant to like sell these in any kind of quantity.
No, no,
especially not with the demand that was coming on. And,
oh my God, no!
And this was like what, a week? How far away from Christmas was this? Because that's
like
another thing. These are ornaments for a Christmas tree.
I think it was like December 16th or something.
That by
like
the time you make them and it gets to them,
there was going to be almost no way that they get it by Christmas.
Right, so you're buying this for next to...
Actually, no, it was December 5th. But still, it was, I mean, the amount of inquiries I was getting...
Because you started telling people, like, listen, this isn't going to come by Christmas.
No, I said that right out of the gate.
And they were cool. They were like, yeah,
They're
I still
like,
want
fine,
5
I want
of those.
them. That's fine if I get them next year. Yeah.
Right, so they literally buying them to put them away for next year.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So my inbox was just flooded, and I couldn't handle. At first, I was trying to be like, "Oh, let me know which ones you want and how many, and I'll get back to you." And I was like, "Okay, this isn't gonna work." So I woke up super early. I was cutting the ones that I needed to cut, and then I had to go take pretty pictures of them on our tree so that I could put them on the website. And I had to I had started the website, but
I feel
barely.
like when we woke up or when we went to bed, you were like stressing about like how you're gonna make all of these.
Yes.
And I was like, listen, why don't we just start up this website, put them on there, and dedicate whatever, like one sheet of acrylic to this one, another one, and then like basically pick a cap of each one, and once we meet it, we're sold out, so that the people can get it in somewhat of a timely manner.
Right. So that's what we did the next day. Was you kind of helped me determine how many of each one. So like if there was one that I made that was a toilet paper, it was a literal piece of toilet paper in between 2 pieces of acrylic, but it was like 5 layers because it was a piece of veneer on the back, and then 3 pieces of acrylic, and then a piece of veneer on the front. So, 5 layers and the toilet paper. So anyway, those were more labor intensive because I had to add like 3M to it and assemble them and whatever.
And then because of the demand and to kind of help deter people from actually trying to buy the physical item,
I made them expensive.
You made them a little bit expensive, and went as far as saying, hey, this file is available. If you know someone who can make it for you, have them buy the file.
So I made a post on Instagram, and I was very transparent, and I was like, look, I am not the only one who makes some of these. Like some of these, like the infamous fuck flake. That was not my design. I actually hated making them because they had a bunch of little tiny pieces that you had to like poke out, and they look cool, but they're annoying to cut personally for me. So I was like, hey, if you guys happen to know somebody who owns a laser, have them buy the file either from me if I sell it, or if it's a file I got from someone else, buy it from them and have them make it for you, because they can probably make it quicker and cheaper than I can.
Right.
Because I had to price it for demand, honestly, because I was
a TikTok charge.
right. I was pregnant. I was miserable. I had planned on not doing any more orders.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I'm getting 60 messages, and not every single person wanted more than one. There was not one person who wanted, I think I had one order for one ornament. That's it. All the rest of
were multiples.
were all multiples. So I'm like, this is how I'm going to have to manage to do it. And then I chose a quantity based on how much material I had, how hard are they to assemble,
labor that it takes.
Exactly. And my friend Mindy, I had her actually cut all the fuck flakes for me.
Had to call in for backup.
I did. I messaged all of my laser friends, and I was like, hey, I might need you, depending on how many orders I get, I might need you to cut some for me. And they were all ready and willing to jump in if they could. But thankfully I only needed Mindy's help, and then was able to do the rest on my own. But I got the website that Sunday. I woke up super early and got the website up and live within 10 hours. And that was basically from start to finish. The only thing I think I had finished on my website before this day was I basically secured the domain and maybe did a couple things to layout, but I ended up changing that layout anyway to fit the ornaments that I was selling. So, I got the shipping, I got my return policies, I got all of that.
Basically created your website in overnight.
Half a day, yeah.
All because of one TikTok video.
Right. That I was not prepared for, because it wasn't even mine. And again, you can't prepare for that. A lot of times, it's this just some random video that
you don't know what's gonna hit.
How did that go viral? And it just happens. Yeah, I don't even remember. I think I got 25 or 30 orders, and then I did actually get them all out early. I think most of them were actually received before Christmas.
Oh wow.
If not right after. There was one I sent to Canada. That one didn't arrive before Christmas. But yeah, and it was just... and then as soon as I finished my last order, I had turned off... I was marked everything as sold out.
Sold out.
And turned off my my site for what I had planned to just be 2 weeks. Because I still had a lot of people who were... I know you're not taking any more orders right now. I really still want an ornament, and I don't care if it's... Some of them said, I don't care if I get it in May. Like, they really did not care.
They just wanted it for next year.
They just wanted it for next year. And then my pregnancy had other ideas, had other plans, and 2 weeks turned into, what is it? March?
Yeah.
Yep. Almost April. So, and it's still not back on. I honestly don't know when and if I'm going to turn it back on. I have done a couple orders here and there for personal friends and family. Mm-hmm. I've released maybe 4 files, but for the most part,
been taking a hiatus.
Yeah, kind of a forced hiatus, because
going back to that shipping of all of them, I remember when we were packing, when I was helping you pack in the room, and then we filled one of those
a plastic
Sterilite tub.
Yeah.
And I remember walking into the post office in the middle of the holiday rush.
Yeah, we prepaid, obviously. I use Pirate Ship for shipping, which if you don't use Pirate Ship, you should be. They are, I think, usually at least $1 cheaper, if not more, than at the actual post office.
Right. So everything was, the sticker was on.
Everything was prepaid for, pre-printed. It was literally just ready to go. They needed to just do I printed out one of those scan forms, and all I had to do was just scan the form.
Right. Scanned mm-hmm. all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was 30
Parcels.
Something, 30 or 40 different packages, because it was also not only those ornaments, it was me finishing
other
Christmas.
Orders.
Yeah. My Christmas orders.
Yeah. So I remember there was the line was literally out the door, and not because of COVID. It was just that's
a little bit of both.
Well, I mean, listen, for the amount of people without the distancing, it would have still been out the door.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And here I come with a tub
Walking straight past everybody
VIP,
else.
past the line. Excuse me.
Man,
and
the
walk-
looks you get when you
that was
every time.
And I was like, I'm just gonna look straight ahead. I'm gonna walk in like I work here. And I mean, for all intended purposes, I was walking in with a tub.
Right.
So it's not like I was coming in with one package. So they're like,
Right.
this guy work here, or what's going on?
Right.
So they were looking at me partially in confusion,
yeah.
like, who is this guy? Because I wasn't in uniform. And I walked to the front, and luckily there was a gap in between one person, like between two postal workers.
Yeah.
And so like the desk there was empty. So I wait for the lady to finish, the postal worker to finish with the lady that was there. And I asked her, where do you want these? Like, not even,
Yeah.
like, you know, and she's like, oh, just put them there. And as I was putting them there, when she really finished with that lady, she's like, oh, do you have the sheet? I can scan it now.
Yeah.
So she scanned it, and I dropped it off and walked out with an empty tub. And man, those people were like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't really take up any time.
Right.
Like, she just scanned it, and then that was it.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, it looks
Well,
bad.
a lot of people who are sending packages there, they're sending them like back home, like Jamaica or other places.
Right,
So,
for this neighborhood, yeah.
Right. And so, like,
and they still have to pay for postage.
right. And so
They're
a lot
not
of people,
sure.
I can tell when I do the same walk past people for big drops, they're like, they give me the look like, what is she doing? And so I think a lot of people aren't like
Right,
used
it's a
to
little
this
confusion,
prepaid,
right.
and you know, like I know she's not just.
Right, she's not skipping the line.
She's definitely not skipping the line.
But it
right.
kind of looks like it.
Yeah.
Like, she's not gonna wait to ask for help. And then you don't ask for help. You just
Right.
like drop it off and
I just say,
here
where
you
do you
go.
want them? Yeah. And
Right,
then I
they're
hand
like-
them the scan form.
Right.
And then
But-
every once in a while they're like, oh, hold on, I'll scan that after this person, or oh, just set it right there. Or
Yeah, but that's
whatever.
the people inside.
Yeah.
The people outside waiting in the line are like, did they just skip the line?
Right.
Like, the line
Yeah.
starts back here, buddy.
Yeah.
And then the next thing they know, that they see me walking out with an empty tub.
Right.
I walked in with a tub full of packages and
Yeah.
out. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. Well, so my followers too, that went up like crazy. I think I never really worked hard on trying to get my Instagram followers up, I guess. Instagram was kind of like neglected because I started the Facebook first and then the Instagram. But my Instagram followers went from, I think I had, I don't know, maybe like 300 to 1,300 in
Wow.
like a couple days.
Right.
It
It was a
was-
matter of days that
Yeah.
the video went crazy.
My poor phone just was in like, I literally just kind of kept it plugged in because it was just dying because the Instagram notifications, if they weren't sending me a message or asking how to order or, you know, commenting on something, they were liking. And so it's, oh, you got 30 new followers. Oh, you got 10 new followers or
So
whatever,
for a
so-
moment there, that was like, can you imagine like what celebrities, like what their social media must be like?
oh, it sounds awful.
Can you
'Cause-
like that, it'd be like that on a slow day.
No, that's too much. Because although I'm very thankful for it, and it was a great like experience now that it's over.
Right.
But
In
it's
retrospect, it's
so stressful. I have a ton of anxiety, and the anxiety that I had in those few like days and weeks was like, what am I thinking? There was part of me in a few moments who was like, I wanted to almost tell people like, I've
closed.
cut off orders. I'm not doing anymore. Cause like I had also come to the decision that even in 2021 that I was going to be focusing more on digital designs and less on physical products. So for some people who want to sell like all the physical products, this is like, you know, this is what they work
Right, it's their Super Bowl championship.
Right. And to me, it
trying
was
to phase
kind
out,
of like
trying to phase it out.
Exactly. It was like I kind of didn't want it. Like again, I was very thankful for the experience and the
that
extra money, of course, the extra money that came in because of it. But it did come with a lot of like stress, and thankfully all of the customers were super amazing, you know, because again, I was very transparent in that I'm going to try and get them out within 2 weeks, but that's not even like a promise. Man, then the USPS, they were, there's packages that are still missing from November and December. Like, they literally had semi trucks full of mail that they're like, we hope we can deliver this someday, pretty much. So the stress of then, okay, I finally made all of these things.
Right.
Now then I have to hope that they get there.
Right.
So I offered 2 shipping services, and it was either first class with insurance. I added and paid extra for insurance, or I did priority, so that at the very least it was covered should they disappear off the face of the earth. So there was that added level of stress on top of it. But thankfully, all of my packages
made it on time.
And just at least arrived. There was a couple that floated around a little bit and arrived a little later than they said they would, but everything actually, or I had one, and it wasn't ornament related. It was a watch band that I sent out, and that one literally was missing for like 30 days. And then I started submitting like missing forms, and so there's a couple things that you can submit if a package is just not moving. And so I did 2 different things, and then all of a sudden it just showed up one day and it delivered. And thankfully, again, that customer was super understanding and patient, and because I was seeing all of the Etsy groups talking about these horrible customers who, ordered 5 days before Christmas and were pissed that
it didn't show up right away.
Exactly. So
yeah,
Amazon has turned it into
has ruined it. Because I mean, even for me, if I order something and it's not like next day, I'm like, what is this? 1998?
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy. But so this is a message for those who are wanting to go viral and like hoping and hope, like, is this one? Be careful what you wish for.
Yes.
Because it's a lot.
Blessing, but it's not all fun. And that was the other thing, was I was still on my Glowforge.
Oh, right.
And my Glowforge was having issues. And so like it struggled to get through some wood. And so I'd have to cut the same piece a couple times. And I was scared because it was having issues that at any point it could just be like, nah, I'm good. And wasn't the mirror already like pre-ordered? Yeah,
at that point. So we were like,
so the mirror I was actually supposed to get mid-November, and it was delayed.
We were planning to start packing up the Glowforge.
Yeah,
when this all happened as well, which is why you were. I was supposed to
sell my Glowforge. I had planned to sell my Glowforge November 1st, and then I was just going to be without a laser for a couple weeks. Actually, so the mirror was set to arrive end of October, early November. So I said November 1st, and then if anything, if it's a little bit late, then I'll just have a break of a couple weeks.
Just won't have a laser for that time.
Then we found out that's not happening, and the delay was even longer. And so I was supposed to have my mirror, and then it didn't show up until it basically showed up after all this craziness was over. But it would have been amazing and terrible at the same time to have had it, because then I'm learning a new machine. And so you add then that anxiety, and there's a couple bugs we had to work out when we first set it up. There's the user error on top of it. And so, yes, I would have been able to cut quicker and faster to a certain extent, but then I would have had to figure out all new settings. Curve, and the learning curve would have been on there. So yeah, I was making all of these ornaments on my, what some people call the slow forge. I don't know how I did it, because when I sent out, when you came back with that empty tub from the post office, because I think JR and I were in the car.
Yeah, you waited for me, yeah.
And you came back with that tub, and it was just like the best
sigh of relief.
Feeling. Yeah, obviously there's a stress of then, okay, are they going to make it there? But at least...
But it's out of your hands.
Yes. There's no more control. I had in it. It was the last one that was done. And yeah, then I sat on the couch for weeks and
Still
weeks.
Sitting.
Pretty much.
You get up from time to time.
I do, but then I end up paying for it now.
Yeah.
Because like today, I worked a good portion in the office, and then my wrist was acting up, and so I've been icing that tonight. But
So are you planning now to be more active in TikTok?
so I'm attempting to.
Okay.
I do like that they're like 30 seconds and 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I show something, it's like, it's quick. Like I've kind of been avoiding my YouTube channel lately because it's hard to, you don't want them to be too long and people not to watch the whole thing, but then you also don't want them to be too short. And then people are confused because you kind of cut too much out.
Right.
And so with TikTok and Reels, which, I think we've talked about that we're both addicted to watching, with those, I just can do a cool time lapse, a couple like cool filters or video effects and a catchy song.
Right.
And I'm just showing them what I'm doing.
Because people aren't necessarily trying to follow step by step.
Right, because I'm not like really showing them. I'm not, again, it's not like a tutorial. I am showing them how I'm doing it, but it's obviously like super sped up.
Right.
And I might have skipped a couple steps, along the way. So I am liking it and trying to get better at my hashtags and stuff like that. But again, I'm doing it. I'm careful about doing it on my physical products because I don't really want to go viral again.
Oh, right. You don't want someone to like it and be like, yo, now you have to make 100,
exactly.
like 100 or 1,000 of something.
Like that carpet detailing thing that I made.
Oh, right.
I was super proud of it, so I couldn't not do a TikTok.
Right.
But I was also scared
that detailers are going to hit you up.
Right, that it was going to go, crazy and I was going to get a whole bunch of inquiries because I can't, unfortunately, I can't handle that right now. And it's not the direction I want to go with my business. So what I'm going to try and do going forward is kind of like how Heather did it and make a short video on the design I made, either of me drawing it or like the one I just did for Torian, our friend's son. He's 13 and his leukemia has returned. And so...
And it's not as optimistic this time.
Exactly, right. And so, but he has a super amazing outlook and he's, not going to stop fighting. But
he just got signed to the Denver Nuggets.
He did for a day. Yeah, it was really awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to help and I was like, let me make and sell some cancer ribbons. I made a TikTok of me. I drew the ribbon in Procreate and then added some pictures and added his story in and then had the keychains at the end and then posted that, and a bunch of friends and family have shared it and stuff. Either
and 100 and all proceeds go to
100% of it. Yeah,
go to him.
So I'm donating my time. I'm purchasing the materials and the keychain stuff all myself and making it, and then any money I get is going directly to
help him
Torian and his mom
live out all his dreams because they're doing, what are they calling it?
Going all out.
Going all out.
The going all out adventures. They're just doing
everything he wants.
Everything.
They just got back prior to signing for a day with the Nuggets. They were all in California.
Yes, visiting
family, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have family out there.
Yeah.
He's definitely been an inspiration. And Kalina, his mom, I can't even imagine what she's going through. And at times don't really. But I definitely, Kalina, if you're listening to this, we definitely look up to you.
For sure.
And man, just if you need anything, you can count on us.
Yeah, keep up the fight.
Yeah, for sure.
So, where I was going with that was that I'm going to start like recording me drawing them. I got like a fancy phone mount so that I can mount the phone and record time lapse of me drawing it and then, assembling it and then showing the design at the end, but then showing it as like trying to push the design like for laser owners and that kind of stuff.
Right,
so hopefully
for the design
part. Yeah. TikTok is definitely where it's at. I've heard a couple either in the Etsy groups or in the Glowforge groups of, I posted this ornament or this sign to my TikTok and it went viral, and now I have to make 300 of this sign or ornament. And yeah, it's always super thankful but super stressed out, like how the heck am I gonna make this happen?
Right, because I mean, I remember when you were making the signs, you didn't necessarily have a workflow for mass production of said sign. So
because everything I did up until that point was mostly custom. It was, hey, can you make the sign with my mom? And I want it to be this saying with these wings and a heart. Or, it was not like it was 100% personalized and custom. So I didn't have really
so those people probably in the same boat doing it, and now it's like now they're inundated with orders and like when's their birthday? Because or when are you due?
And on the off chance that they actually had like an Etsy already set up, it's almost a blessing. That's almost a curse in itself too, because if you already have an Etsy set up and your processing times, some people have their processing times at like 3 to 5 days. So if you have your processing times at 3 to 5 days and you get 100 orders that day, you're not sleeping that night.
They're all expecting it in 3 to 5 days.
And you can change it that day going forward.
But how many orders weren't submitted with that 3 to 5 day already?
And as we've discussed a few times on this podcast, people don't read.
Right.
And so they'll order, they don't notice the processing time. And then a few days later, they're in your inbox saying, where's my, has my item shipped?
Right.
And you're like, no, my processing times are 2 weeks. And they're like, what? 2 weeks?
Well, I need it before that. Well, you should have read the processing time.
Exactly.
Not my fault.
So but again, it's still the stress of people, where's my stuff? Where's my stuff?
And delivering and the reputation of your business.
Exactly. So it's great, but then it's also, it can be a little bit stressful.
Yeah.
It was fun too. I will say it's a pretty cool experience to like share that, like, oh, that one time that my naughty ornaments went viral. Right.
I went super viral for penis ornaments and balls.
Oh my God. And my poor mom, I had to call her and warn her, like, so I went viral on social media and it was for some inappropriate ornaments. So just in case you come across anything or anyone posts anything, if there's any pictures. Or
anyone asks you, where can I buy one?
Right. Or any of your coworkers happen to see said TikTok, then, I'm sorry.
Could have been worse. There are definitely other things you could go viral for.
Yes.
That aren't as good.
Yeah. Hey, she gave me this creativity, so it's partially her fault. Oh, let's talk about next week.
What's going on next week?
So speaking of TikTok, someone who puts a lot of videos out on TikTok, and who's kind of what some people call like a laser celebrity. Mm-hmm. Emily.
Oh, that mom with the laser.
That mom with the laser.
She's going to be on the show next week.
I tricked her into coming on the show next week. I kept asking her, I was like, oh, we got to get you on the podcast. And she's like, yeah, for sure. And I'm like, okay, tell me when. She'd be like, okay. And then so finally I was like, so Monday? And she was like, oh, Monday. And I'm like, okay, next Monday? And she was like, okay, I can do next Monday. She pulled me in, and she didn't make me, but she asked me to do a tutorial on live in her Mom with the Laser group in April. And I was like, hey, I'm doing that tutorial for you. April. Can you come
right on the podcast?
Join my podcast.
Cool.
So
is she still pumping out those YouTube videos?
She is. She has been working on a file for the last couple of weeks, so I don't think she's done a video in a couple of weeks, but she was pumping out about one a week.
Oh, wow.
Pretty consistently, and she's monetized now on
good for her.
YouTube, so she hit a big
So
milestone there.
We'll have plenty to talk about with her.
We will.
All right, join us next week. Later, guys.
Bye.